I did not technically fit into any clique. I wasn't able to participate in sports because I worked on the family farm, so I couldn't be there. I wasn't extraordinarily super smart in science. I was good, but I wasn't like science Olympiad quality or anything like that. My talent lied in music and actually, I guess it's a talent, getting along with people. So I actually got along with pretty much everybody in school. So I didn't really fit into a certain little pod or whatever you want to call it, clique.
Yes. The atmosphere at the time I went to high school was great. Everybody was kind of going around doing their own thing without really fearing any sort of chance of being ostracized. But within that, yes, is the caveat of I still chose to do the things that I wanted to do rather than simply, I guess, be a part of the popular crowd.
I did fit in. I was an athlete and I participated in some extracurricular activities. And I had a very good group of friends that participated positively.
We had a class of around 220 students, and I think I fit in this great. I don't think I ever got in a fight or disliked anyone in our class, and that's as far as a senior class down to junior class, sophomore class, or freshman class. I think I got along with pretty much anyone.
I did fit in. I tend to get along with a lot of individuals. I was a nerd and an athlete.
I would say that it took me a while to find my niche in school. I was involved in the music program, which was a very important part of my high school career. I was also involved in athletics, and those two didn't necessarily mesh real well, but I found a way to make that work for me. So I wasn't part of what would be the in-group, I guess, but I did find support in the extracurricular stuff that I was doing.
I was involved in many things, from sports to drama and band, but I wouldn't say that I fit in, as into a specific clique was the term. I found common interests with others through the activities I was involved with.
I would like to say I did fit in. I feel like my freshman year, not so much, kind of that ugly duckling kind of thing. It didn't really quite fit in, but I think as the years progressed, I started fitting in with, I wouldn't say the cliques, but I think I fit in with kind of everybody, being a social butterfly that I am. I think a lot of people can vouch for that today. But yeah, I think once I learned how to have those positive interactions, which I had back in high school, I think that helped me socially be more confident in my ability to interact and have positive relationships.
That goes back to 1980. I've been walking in the halls of that school since 1977. So for 42 years, I've either taught in the school or been a student in the school. And I've seen things change. I've seen some good, some bad. I think that we've become more accepting as a school. I think that when I look back in the class of 1980 and the school environment then, I think today's students are much more open and embracing of people who are different. I think we have a ways to go yet, but I think we are headed in the right direction. Whether it be people of color or people in the LGBTQ community, I think we do see more acceptance, and I think that is something that really is headed in the right direction.
I think Medford did a really good job, honestly, of, we had the arts, we had athletics, we had great classes, great teachers. Everybody helped each other out, and I think growing up, it was really helpful being at a smaller school. And I only realized that once going off to college, and where people would have graduating class of thousands of other students. I think you really get a better experience having a smaller, more tight-knit community school.
Nothing. I would change maybe some of the choices I made, maybe choosing different classes or applying myself in different ways, but I don't know if I would have changed the high school, because I think the environment and the culture at the time was good because you felt like you could make those decisions. You could go down whatever path you felt like taking.
When I attended high school, there were not as many offerings as there are today. And so to me, if I could have today's high school back then, I think we do a much better job now of meeting students where they're at, addressing the needs, but also celebrating the excellence as well.
I guess if I had to change going back to high school personally, would be probably working a little bit harder on academics, sports. I love sports, I love to work hard, but probably not drinking alcohol.
When I look back as an adult on high school, when I was in high school, I felt like I didn't fit in, you know, I was a wallflower. But now that I look back at it from an adult's point of view, I actually had more of a healthier time in high school than I thought, because I did get along with all different kinds of people. I didn't make myself feel better than they were because I was in a clique. I just felt like I was just one of the whole pool of people that were in that school. So actually, I didn't have a horrible time. And it would be a good idea for you to keep that in mind. You know, you're young, you don't see everything down the road. So don't give up, just keep plugging away. It'll always get better.
I think the one thing that I would change is finding more time to be social with the teachers that I had. More, not necessarily to concentrate on academics, but more or less to visit and learn from their experiences in life and what they went through college and high school. To be totally honest, I had an amazing time in high school, but I think having those, now that I'm so far out of high school, looking back at those relationships I had with some of the teachers I had, they really affected how I grew up going into adulthood. So I think having more of that time with them.
It would be to find a way that all students could feel like they fit, they belong, they're a part of this school, and that they matter.
I would say my overall takeaway from high school is that we had a lot of fun. We interacted with a variety of groups of people. I was mainly an athlete, but that athletics allowed me to interact with a number of groups of individuals. So I wasn't just stuck with my clique, but I interacted with people I liked and people I didn't like as much. And together you formed relationships and bonds that I carry with me today.
My earliest memory of being at the high school actually occurred in the early 70s when my brothers and I went to a high school basketball game, and as I was climbing into the bleachers with them, a bag of M&Ms fell out of my pocket and opened all over the floor. They had to stop the basketball game, bring out the mops, and yeah, they were all looking at me, so that was a bit awkward.
My senior year, I quit band, and I remember my parents, my family, my friends, everybody was like, "You're crazy, it's your senior year, you've been doing it since, what, 6th or 7th grade we started it in?" And band just was never my favorite thing, and I wanted to discover other things. So I did it, despite everybody telling me not to do it, and I took an art class. And it was the best decision. I enjoyed that art class tenfold. And so it was one of those learning experiences for me, is that you really gotta trust yourself in deciding what you enjoy doing, and this is your time to learn and experience different things, so go for it.
I had so many amazing teachers coming through the Medford School District, but I think the two that stand out the most are Doug Robertson was our drama theater teacher, and Joan Nassett, who was the music director when I went through high school. I think those two people were the ones that really pushed me out of my comfort zone. Doug being on stage, pushed me to be on stage, and using that ability that my parents have kind of grown me up into with theater. And Mrs. Nassett really trying to really help me develop my voice and in music. Even though I didn't pursue a career in music, she still helped me put that confidence in things that I knew I couldn't do.
Like, I remember getting along with all sorts of classmates from several different groups, although, as I said before, I didn't feel like I fit into any one. Swim team, to marching band, concert band, performed in plays through the drama program. And through those activities, we got to go to Lambeau Field and march in a parade in Florida and see a Russian ballet performance in Minneapolis. The extracurricular activities and the things that extended beyond Medford really helped to expand my view of the world and set me up to go on to do other things. From about age 11, my parents would say they thought I would leave Medford and never come back again. And now I live in the house that I grew up in, and I work in the high school I graduated from, and I wouldn't change anything.
Al Leonard was our football coach. He was a defensive football coach. And Al Leonard, whatever, I guess he was more of a role model. You know, he had us work hard, play hard. He was a good coach in and off the field. And I think he pushed me, myself, whatever, to work harder on the academics and on the field.
One memory that sticks out of high school, which is kind of silly, we had a history teacher named Mr. Young. And he would invoke fear in every kid that walked past him or had him in class. And we had a test this day. We started the test and he had to leave the room, which was not usual for him. So no one would breathe, no one would move, and yet we all knew where we were on this test because we had to write out the preamble of the Constitution. And at the time, there was something called Schoolhouse Rock when we grew up. And we all started humming it. One person started humming it, and then we all started humming it, and we all wrote out the preamble together. And we were all giggling and laughing about it. No one talked, but we all knew what we were doing.
One of my favorite times in high school, and anybody that was in choir at the time, is Taste of Hollywood. Although I know some of the teachers did not enjoy us getting out of class on that Wednesday or Thursday, but what was extraordinary and memorable and exciting about Taste of Hollywood was not only was it essentially entirely student-driven, obviously there's parent help, but our teacher at the time, Joan Nassett, was very hands-off and wanted us to shoulder that burden, show how we deal with the responsibility, and because of that, we chose to rise to that occasion. And it also was a time where you auditioned to get in, and it was technically school-wide, as long as somebody was in choir within your group. And so it was a time of the year every spring for people to show off in a way, to show their talent, whether that's singing or dancing or playing an instrument. And it was I guess you would say a ritual of sorts. You know, you go through that, and it was a time, especially for underclassmen, to show the upperclassmen their talent, their skills, and a time for the upperclassmen to remind the freshmen or the sophomores who's top dog in the department.